Hello, today I'm going to continue painting fall colors and in particular fall trees. And I'm going to be doing some really colorful jewel tones and some kind of, I don't know if it's expressionist, but definitely not abstract. We'll see. I think impressionist trees. So yeah, I'm going to start with that quinacridone nickel underpainting that's been really popular lately. The gold. This one. Some water. I don't feel the need to have a sketch or drawing under there. Oh, dog hair. These trees are going to be on the bank of some water pond, some variety. Yay, the beginning! Yeah, only you are only a few minutes in. Congratulations. That's fun. I'm going to be doing some fall color kind of full tone trees on the bank of a pond. And I'm going to leave some area white, take advantage of using the luminosity of the paper. It is the best season. I'm a big fan of fall also. There'll be other hints of trees over here as well. I just don't know where exactly they're going to be. We're kind of going to do an intuitive painting process on this. Light source is going to be coming from the right side. Kind of a lower, like about here. Here-ish. Done with that underpainting. And let's see. Maybe using a lot of layers. Starting with a magical green color. Oh, hi, Allison. Okay, you're muted. Big waves. Adding a little bit of yellow to that water. Now we're gonna go into the deeper blue. I had some Prussian over here left over from the last time I was painting. Just using the side of the brush to kind of cut in. Definitely be the darker shadows in the water. Little bit of a brighter color. I'm thinking about putting some cerulean blue here. Oh, I finally organized my paint. So I have everything sorted out by warms, cools, and neutrals, which is the way I like to roll. Kind of drag paint across with the flat brush and just alternate the pressure as you go. Get these wonderful organic lines. Darken up that area. I want this light to come off this tree, kind of be reflected right there. I'm going to add more water and kind of wipe that off with a towel. Some more transparent color here. I don't want these marks over here to be so high contrast. Draw your eye. I want them to be different. Retain their texture. Let's not be that bright. Don't want to lead your eye off the page either. I'm going to take some of the high contrast off the edges here. That'll lead your eye off the page. All right. I'm gonna put in some of the sky color. Probably going to get some of the bright aqua out. No, I won't be able to help myself. There's gonna have to be some sort of clouds in here somewhere. Just gonna mix some cerulean blue into some parts, just for some variation of color. We still are using the same paintbrush. Still using Bill. Okay, now white. I'd work on edges of these guys first, because this is acrylic paint. It dries very quickly. So I'm going to focus on the edges and not worry about how, I mean, they definitely need to be bulked up, but we want the edges to be subtle, right? So work on the edges first and then bulk up the middle on the second pass when the paint is dry. And then, you know, sometimes I'll do a third pass, and then sometimes at the very end of the painting, I will go to the clouds again and bulk up where I want the highlights to be, because you need this to dry all the way in order to see what colors everything ends up being. Acrylics will do a little bit of a hue shift over their drying process. Okay, so now I'm thinking there's gonna be, so these trees that are gonna be lit by the sun because they have white bark and white trunks, they're gonna be contrasted by the surrounding trees kind of being deeper and darker. And so sticking with the jewel tone vibe, I'm going to be using magenta and probably Prussian blue. So I'm gonna squeeze those out now. There's the quinacridone magenta that I have been using in Liquitex Professional. I would usually be getting it from Golden, but every time I go to the art store, they're out. Oh. That's okay. You know, ever since I got Prussian Blue, I haven't touched Ultramarine at all. I can't even tell you the last time I used it. Apparently I don't need it. I might take that one off the list. Hey. Big tree shapes, here we go. Probably gonna need to be like a bank of some sort. Catches a medium amount of light. I want really dark colors here at the edge. If I need to make any medium value trees, I'll bring them up out of the Prussian darkness there. Same on this side. It's gonna lay a little bit of magenta on top there, vaguely. Give it depth, some texture. Added some water to get the more water on your brush, the more true your bristles are. So for bristle control, I want more water on there. But you're gonna lose some opacity on your paint. So it's a balance. Depends on what you want to do. So, okay, now I have more magenta. On my brush. Go up. There, the treetops. Grab some yellow. I'm gonna need some cleaner yellow, I am sure of it. Yep. Pump the brakes on that. I might use some cadmium yellow. Using the Liquitex for this one again. On a note on paint quality, if you want to get like value paint because you feel less scared of using it, which is legit, you can go ahead and go with basics for all your cool colors and your white and your black, but yellow and red maybe step up to like a Winsor Newton, like the next step up. If you're gonna step up, do it with your hot colors, and yellows especially. Low quality yellow will just bum you out. This is from my imagination. I have an idea what I want to do with the colors. I am doing a lot of jewel tone fall art right now. So, yeah. I have like a general idea of what I want to do, but mostly this is going to be improv. It'll be interesting. It's kind of a fantasy landscape painting. Yeah, my other yellow is getting muddy. I'll put it on the other side of that yellow because I would like a really vivid orange. Vivid as possible anyway. I'm gonna get that. Gotta have a warm red to get a vivid orange. Right? Yeah. You'll see we're gonna be adding some layers over that. We'll all see. If this also gets muddy, then I'm gonna pause on this spot and I'll come back to it after it dries. So I can tell it's kind of mixing the undercolors. And so might come back to that. I'm gonna keep this foliage dark. I'm gonna be working on the foreground trees last. Bring some green into the middle of the composition for some of that background foliage there. I'm gonna not use this brush though. I want that to stay warm. That was cadmium yellow light. She thinks waterfall. No, not waterfall, but I understand. Alison playing the guessing game. This whole painting is going to be about the foreground trees. So it's going to be rough and dark all around them. They'll be the last thing that gets painted, so. Want to make sure that color is deep and saturated and interesting in the background. Here. See how when the paint dries, that magenta kind of just disappears almost into the Prussian blue? It just dries right into that. But you can see it up close. I don't know if you can see it on stream. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna wait and that's all dry to bring more orange in. That will be darker than what we're using in the tree. So I will do the grasses on the embankment. A little right, as in there's water. Found some chunky white paint. So fun. Pull some of these grasses out to make them a little bit more pronounced. Sharpening that flat brush up. Rotating it when it has less paint on there. That's so funny. A little. It's that Prussian blue with just a hint of magenta, and I'm gonna the shadow of the bank line. Bringing it off the page at just a little bit of a angle. And I'm gonna take most of that off of my brush with the water. That is gonna dry different than we put it on. Very transparent. Some vertical strokes. This is going to vary the color of that grass. Yeah, I want it to be less bright over here. Your eye on the page, on the subject. There we go. There's that cadmium medium with the little bit of red in it, just a scotch. Warm up the white that I used to bring those grasses out, the high ones. I'm just gonna get right over them. A little bit of overlap and a little bit of underlap. Make it interesting. White is doing the heavy lifting of over that dark color. Let's tint the yellow right over it. I'm gonna put a little bit of green in there too. a little bit of a deeper green, and I'm just gonna here and there. All right. Now, hopefully all that mid-ground is dry. We're hoping for. Add some little foliage, like a hint that there are leaves. Haven't once done any video clips. I should probably try to do that right about now. Oh jeez. There, that's it. If I can just get maybe one more clip, I'd be happy with that. I'm going over all the muddy spots. Great thing about acrylic is you can just let it dry and come back in like 15 minutes instead of 2 weeks. No, that oil paint. My God. Okay, here's the warm flat brush that we were using earlier. And if you're keeping track at home, we've just been using flat brushes. These two. Bill and Bill Jr. Rotating the brush a lot as I'm coming up here to the sky. Okay, good question. Rotating the brush when you're using a flat brush alternates the shapes that you're gonna make. So if I were to take really any brush, if I were to take any brush, any shape, and go the same direction over and over again, you would start to see the patterns that you're making. It would make the same shape over and over and over again. And then if you took more paint and did it again, it would be the same shape. So if you wanted that effect, that would be the thing to do. But when you're doing tree shapes and foliage, especially foliage that's shooting out from the tree, if you rotate your brush, you're going to get a lot of variation of shapes as you're painting. And you can, you can push, you can dab, you can pull the brush, and that'll all change what kind of shapes you will get as you're painting. No. I love the questions. That makes me, I have mental notes of what I need to write down. I'm gonna start producing high quality lesson videos, as high quality as I can muster. And so I will have to make some really detailed outlines, some mental notes on what to say for sure on that stuff. I'll stick with magenta on this side. Make it a little bit different from the tree that's on the right. Might even bring this tree shape all the way up to the top. Most of the sky in this painting is going to be covered up, I believe. That is what's happening. Switching to the other flat brush to put in some little branches. Yeah, like a big chunky purple beanie with like lots of overlap. One of the like the big the big chunky ones. I don't know. Lots of room in there. I'm excited. Beanie painting trade deal. I want to put those branches in, but I want to make sure that the ends of the branch are covered up with some other kind of texture, so they look like they sit in the tree. Talking about hot colors and acrylics, you're talking about transparency, which is why you want to step up a level if you can in quality. So the perk of that is transparency and painting in layers works to make more texture, to make more depth of color. Just work with it. Work with it. Yeah, that background forest is starting to come together. All colors are the best colors. So they're gonna dry. All that magenta is gonna dry, and I will probably pump it up again at the end. So I'm kind of digging our sky color. Maybe I'll put a little bit more white. So now our sky color is dry. And that thing I said we were gonna do, we're gonna do. I'm gonna take fill the filbert brush. All the materials are listed on my website, by the way, if you're interested. Would the brands depend on the region? I think Winsor & Newton is available worldwide, if that's the region you... I buy all my paint on Amazon now because it's really hard to have a reliable art store these days. So I do have a list of everything that I use on my website. If you go under the About Leah section of the website, there's a material list on there. I don't know if everything is linked, but you definitely see the brands and everything that's on there. Even the brushes are on there. My primary brushes, anyway. I have a couple of new favorites to add to that list, actually, that soon. Well, adding that soon. Okay, so I put a little bit of, I got a dry filbert brush here with a little bit of white paint on it. And I'm gonna do, oh God, what is it called? Is it not stippling, it's not scrubbing. It might be scrubbing. I don't know. See, I don't know all the terms. I gotta memorize all the terms. So I'm gonna lightly, and in the same manner as the... Maybe I'll just figure out my own terms. I'm going to wax on, wax off the white. When I say that, I mean like 2 or 3 rotations one direction, and then a couple the other way. Wax on, then wax off, then wax on, and then wax off. And all the while, and this will take practice, I am rotating the brush as well. Wax on, wax off. This is what will make my lesson videos unique. You won't find this kind of humor anywhere else. All right, there. There we go, and that'll do it. For our louts. We just want them to be faint. They're going to be really in the background. I mean, like, hardly noticeable. You'll see. Because we are about to work on our foreground tree. And when we do our foreground tree, we're also going to bring the colors from this tree into the water. We're not done with the water yet. It's lacking a little bit of depth for me. We're going to add a reflection also. Going to come kind of this way. And we'll probably pull a little bit of the warms into the water as well. The grass seems fine. I'm not going to mess with it. It's not the star of the show. So. I put some white in this yellow. It's going to help the coverage for the blue in the areas where I am doing that. Anywhere where I feel like too much blue is showing, I'll come back. Do another layer. I believe all that magenta should be drying out by now. This is cadmium yellow deep. I have a drapey tree. Droopy tree. Not droopy. Drapey. We'll go with drapey, not droopy. I feel like that should come out like a little bit. Trying to figure out where to put each tree and where to push them into the background. Push some of them into the background. I'm gonna clean that brush off almost entirely and kind of make that watery paint I put down a little bit more transparent. Yeah. These two are going to be the brighter trees there. Got some mauve colors happening. It's the tree that I'm gonna bring to the other surrounding grasses to kind of unite them. And into the reflection of the water. Reflection of the water, I feel like we could probably address that now. It's cadmium deep and some white. Get something that's kind of medium transparent. See that we're gonna need some more layers. Need some white layer. Just alternate them around. So pretty. Are they gold clouds? So funny that to experience what is happening through the eyes of someone that has no commentary. They're just like, you know, in the moment. Like one of the, it's like a true art thing where really just experience it as what you're thinking. It's great. Love that. Here's some magenta. Water. Just a hint. There we go, because it is it's pretty. I want to go too crazy. Oh, there we go. Warm up that edge right there. Yeah, it's a process, and I feel like the biggest hurdle in art and making art is being happy with what you're making. Because sometimes you'll make something and people are like, "Whoa, that's great! I love that thing," and you're like, "Really? Really?" I don't know. I was working on a painting not too long ago that I was like, "Oh God." Not digging this, and then loved it, which made me kind of like accept it, and then I liked it better later. So that was an interesting thing that happened. And then also there's lots of things that you can fix as you're painting along. You know, if you know how to fix them, a lot of things that you can do. So that's good. Okay, so now it's just a matter of knowing what your paints do, what your brushes can do, and then you'll know what you can fix, and that's a very comforting feeling. You're like, I don't like that. What can I do to fix that? And that is just a matter of learning and repetition. I wanted to bring some of the magenta into the grass. Bring any grass over that tree is it's going to have to be lit by the sun, so I would have to do that absolute last. And also the branches are going to be absolute last, so let's see. Bit of a deeper orange. I will be painting branches fungus that kind of go into the next, from the trunks to the left, to the next tier of foliage. Maybe a little bit more cadmium red here. Just here and there. This is our star tree for sure. I'm wondering if Halison still thinks they are clouds or if it's starting to come to her yet. Okay, now it's going to be another layer of foliage. I wonder if I should put some really phantom-y tree shapes with some little bit of white, some dark color. Really. Let's risk dilute it down so it's more transparent. I'm gonna need to use the script brush for this. And twirl it through so that all of the bristles are okay. This will be really transparent when it's dry. Glad I did that. A lot of water in that paint. It also makes the bristles easier to control. And towards the end of the paint stroke, they are more transparent still, which gives you more of a background, darker value. But the kicker on that, on using a lot of water with acrylic paint, the tricker, whatever, is that you don't know what it's going to look like until it's dry. You're not going to know how dark that is. So it's you let it dry and then you come back. This has less water in it. There we go. Now we're talking. That's very cool. And, you know, that takes away from the grass. It kind of leads your eye up from the grass. All right, now that we are done with that background and hopefully the midground has dried, we're going to go back to that. Add another layer of reflection white. That paint on pretty thin. Me need more cadmium. Deep, rather. Want that paint to be kind of thick and saturated. We're starting to get up to the top layers. Of dog hair. It's not a waterfall. That's funny though. I like that it's been interpreted like that. No, it'll come together. Hello, DC Senders. How are you doing today? It is gonna be some trees. trees on the edge of a pond, but you're not the first person to say waterfall. And I totally get that. That is very interesting. Definitely has the flow. There's gonna be some branches painted all of this mess of light color that will help solidify those shapes. Yeah, that's funny though. That is a thing. Bring some more of that yellow into the water. like that. It's good. Flashes of red in the water. There. Looks good. Okay, so I'm hoping this is all dry, which it is. Great. Switch over to my script brush. I'm gonna get some white. It's pretty cool. Relatively clean. It's okay if it's a little bit warm. There's some yellow here right next to the white. Big deal. Twirl that. And then what I call wedging it is you get it nice and flat one direction. If I rotate that, you can kind of see one side is fat and one side is flat. That's from wedging it or flattening it, whatever it is. Also, and using two hands, right where I want to be, I'm gonna make some grasses that are hit by the light. Delicate little grasses there. I am gonna put some yellow on them after the white dries. I may have to do the same thing the trunks that I want to be the most visible, but we'll see. So here's this is the finishing touch that is the most important, would be these main, like the focal point trunks. This one being the main one, I'm making it a little bit thicker. Okay, now some branches. Oops. Switch that sucker. Twist it as you're pulling it along. Your brush stroke will go longer before it gets frayed. That is a tricky one. Master, I understand that. I try to use one hand to steady myself, but I just have to focus on the twisting. So as I'm pulling the stroke, I'm twisting the brush a little bit, and that'll keep the bristles tight together. I know that's intense. The first time my mom told me to do that, I was like, say what? And what am I supposed to do again? That's crazy talk. See what I mean about the white trunk making it? Pretty much makes the entire painting. Is the branches on this white tree. This is the contrast. We're working with that contrast. Everything else is so deep and rich and saturated. The best contrast here would be white instead of black, and then everything else fades into the background. I'm just gonna thicken up the paint in the highest contrast areas until we get a really, really crisp white. And those grasses down there, I'm not going to leave them white. I'm going to tint them with yellow. So, that in mind. Instead of 2 trees, I'm going to make 3 of them. I'm going to brighten up this guy, I think. A little bit, just up towards the top. Come out just a little bit. Yeah, like that. I'm hoping that grass is dry. We'll see. I'm just gonna take some cadmium yellow deep. We've kind of abandoned the cadmium yellow light, but I might bring some of it at the very end with palette knife is what I'm thinking I'm gonna do, but we'll see how that plays out. I'm gonna tint the grass down here, and this has quite a bit of water in it. When you're just painting over white, you don't need, if you're just tinting it yellow or green for that matter, you don't need a lot of paint. And then that way, if you overlap the edges, it's ain't no thing. Oh. It's useful. Grab a little bit of orange, a little bit deeper. Ah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, jeez. Oh my god.
Hey.
So scary.
Whoa.
Not as scary the second time.
Yeah. You lost the background.
You have to...
Streaming?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm finishing up. Yeah. Oh my god. Jump scared everyone. All the peoples. Now I'm gonna get just a little tint of magenta on there. Oh, maybe a little bit more. Oh, maybe a little bit more. Undersides of those grasses that are in front of that light tree. Put some detail grasses and a couple of the other tufts. Tie it in, because I did those with a different brush. Okay. There's a couple of grasses here and there popping out. Might put some green ones in next to our highlight area. Just to tie it in. Huh. Distractors. Alright, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Not waterfall, but tree. I am glad that she sees it. She sees it. Success. Success. That's funny. Okay, now I'm gonna get a palette knife. Palette knife. Go. This one. Oh dear. You don't need a palette knife, but like I could just stop here, but I feel like this adds some really thick paint, some thick texture. Using one of these like roundy boys. Gonna need more paint. That's the thing about palette knives. Puts on a lot of paint. The knife, I know it's the knife we don't talk about. I don't like recommend it. We don't talk about it. He doesn't have a name. Been gaining a little bit more popularity. And it's because of the texture and the thickness of the paint and the random shapes. You're painting natural things. Those random shapes are fantastic. Exactly. It's organic. And especially when we're talking about highlight colors at the very end, can make things pop in a way that is quite magical. Want a little bit more on this one side. Ooh. Stab the brush into the painting like at a 90-degree-ish to make leaves. Oh. I don't think so. But I tell you what, if you're ever gonna find out, it'd be soon, because I'm thinking about doing art prompts for October. Treetober. So, We're gonna go through like every kind of tree. I want the tree to go off the, right off the painting there on that side, right there. I wish these were orange on this side, so I'm gonna try to that. There we go. Better. Really want to capture that light on the one side. That's much better. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm looking at it and I want to brighten up ever so slightly a little bit of the background trees. Just a little bit on the show you. Gotta put a little bit of water in it though, because I'd rather it be a little bit more transparent than not. Rinse that out. Blend the edges. run that watery clean brush off over the top of those. There we go. That's the ghosty tree that I wanted back there. Just a couple of them. I want to pull out some branches. Just a little bit more detail. Nothing that's going to compete with our major players. And not go too far away from the subject either. There we go. All right, one more pass with the white. Bring up that opacity. More white on here. That white and cadmium yellow light is pretty much always out. Always ready. Hey, I'm feeling that. Might bring a little bit more orange up off the side there. Maybe even put more magenta in it than what's there. So it's this orange here. Add a little bit more cadmium red to it, a hint of magenta, and get that a little bit darker. Yeah, it's kind of like willowy-ish. I don't know what to really say about that. Willowy-ish. Gives it, it's kind of like, has a romantic next to a pond feeling to it. Let's see, should we pump up the white on the reflection? Yeah. Get a brand new clean brush for that. No water on the brush or anything like that. Want to lay the paint down really, really thick there. Make sure there's no errant bristles. Okay. Okay. And it's funny, we used all but Stanley brush today. Kind of amazing, because that's one of my most used brushes. Everybody else got used though. All right, well, that was it. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really enjoyed this piece. This piece is great. Got a like an illustration kind of vibe to it. I like that. It's almost like maybe it would be a swamp instead of a pond, but I'll take it. Oh, you can. Will someday. I know it. And I'm also going to be working on like very thorough full tutorial videos and that'll be fun. And some of them will be on YouTube for free and some of them will be on my website for I'm going to do $5 lessons. So it'll be like $5 per module and then there will be little packages. That's my plan to get them rolling this fall. So at least they're going to be called paint snacks. So there will be like a deciduous tree paint snack, puffy white clouds paint snack, and like grasses will be another module labeled snacks. And then if you want like a meal or a picnic, then you can get a package and put all 3 of those components together, and there will be another tutorial video that puts all the lessons all the techniques that you learned in the 3 snacks together for the meal. So that will be easier to understand when you read it on the website than what I just explained, but get the gist of it. Okay, so I've experienced a lot of online painting classes. And like the subscription model, the a la carte model, the free model, I've gone through all of it, and I feel like what I want to deliver is going to be a little bit different, and it will be like very a la carte, because I know how it is with and I talk to a lot of beginning painters. It's very intimidating. Oh, raid! Welcome, raiders. Welcome, everyone. It's very intimidating to start painting, and you kind of want to paint what you want to see. So, like, diving into an online painting university would be really intimidating for you. So, either way, I'm going to start hammering that out this fall. And now that we're in fall, it's time for me to get started on that. Welcome, everyone. How is your stream? How are you doing? This looks awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. I was just wrapping this painting up, and I am also very pleased with how it turned out. It's kind of like this enchanted forest vibe. So this fall, I'm doing a lot of fall paintings, focusing on those jewel tones that are so lovely with the aqua and the, there's no purple in this one. We did use some magenta. Our first fall painting was this one, when the full moon the other day. There's some shadow from the frame. This was our first one. For anybody that's new here, I do acrylic landscape paintings. All day, all night. And then this is the one from the other day. Another fall tree. We're going to be doing a lot of fall trees. So, either way, thank you so much. Yonder. And yeah, so let's see if there's anybody we can go visit today. And thank you so much again, and I'll see you next time. Not a waterfall. That's close enough to be its name. We'll see if I can think of anything else, but definitely not a waterfall. Great. See you next time. Thank you. Now. Hey, Sophera. I haven't been able to get Sophera in like... Right, here we go.